Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, let's get to sharing this
Yeah, it's like Camera say, you're gonna be alright, you tough, right?
to everyone, everywhere. Yeah, I love that TikTok. That TikTok, the Asian wife on TikTok. So fucking
Yo,
dope, man.
she the bomb, yo. Like she's one of the most entertaining fucking people on the internet right now. So that's
Yeah.
awesome.
And she was I think the first video of hers that I saw was one where like she had like he said something crazy and then she
Yeah,
like flipped up her flip flop and then threw her right at him.
yeah,
And I'm just like, oh damn, that brings back old school vibes right
yeah,
there.
yeah. He basically was like, oh, did you get the pizza, honey? And she was like, yes, I got it. And he's like, I want an extra wife with my pizza.
Oh damn, like it's like, do you want to die? Want to die today, boy? But I love that shit,
Yeah,
man. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Hey, Kanisha, that's for me. That's relationship goals when y'all can make dope content and just like have fun together. Like that's what I'm looking for, really.
no
Like I'm
doubt.
looking for dopeness like that. So, um, okay, let me see here. What we got? Oh yeah. Well, we are live, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, bro. Man, we ain't talked in a minute, man. It's been a minute, y'all. Like me and Mike normally talk quite a bit offline, and we've been so ingrained in our grind, we just been separated.
Yo, I'm saying like work has been work. Yeah,
Right?
yeah, like shit. Like my own podcast, I haven't even really been doing as much as I'd like to. Like I used to put an episode out every week. Lucky if I do every 2 weeks now.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, look, this shit takes work, and people say, "Oh, well, you just do this shit." And it's like, yo, man, this shit takes planning, work. You got to book guests.
yep.
Like I got stood up this past week. I was supposed to have a musical artist on, and we had scheduled the time to do a little interview show, and completely just flaked, completely stood me up, and I was just
Really.
like, all right, well, that's a little disrespectful because I'm sitting there like we were supposed to go live at like 7. I'm sitting there 7:30, like, all right, I guess you're not gonna make it. If you want to reschedule, then we can reschedule. But it was just like for anybody out here who's listening to this shit, this is the frustrations of a content creator. If you don't want to be on somebody's shit, just say that. Don't stand them up. I actually had a trans, and I'm not going to name him, but I had a Transamorous man do that shit where he was pulling that. Where like I wanted him on my podcast, not this one, but the Trans Talk for Men podcast. I wanted him on that podcast, and I would schedule him, and then oh well, I'm over at my parents' house. I'm doing this. I'm doing okay. Uh, all right, man. Well, let's reschedule. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm over here doing this, and this now. I'm not. And it was just like, and eventually it just came to him. Like, he was like, bro, I just don't want to be a part of this because, I don't want to mix my brand with your show because there's a lot of people that don't like your show. And I'm like, all right, well, fair. Just say that shit. Like, speak the fuck up. I ain't gonna be mad because you don't want to do my show. But it took a while. I had to drive it out this dude. Like, bruh, what's going on? Because we rescheduled with the dude 3 times, and after the third time, I couldn't keep my co-host, to a point where he would allow us to do something with him again. So, um, yeah,
Yeah,
there was
I,
that experience.
I think that's bullshit though. Like that's some pussy ass shit. Like, oh, I hear bad things about your podcast. Like, you listen to the show, you make your own decision based on the content.
For sure. And I understand that, there are people that have been on my podcast, and then after they were on, they were like, gotten, hey, you shouldn't be on that guy's podcast because of this. And, because people don't like him. And it's like, all right, that's cool. That's your brand, your decision. So, in that vein, I don't trip on that stuff too hard. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm still sharing the show out to different places. And I got one more last place to share it, which is my page to my friends and family. because some of them kind of stumble into this shit too. So yeah. Well, anywho, enough of the sharing the woes of being a content creator. It's all good. I love this. I love the community. I love what I do, and I love all my Transamorous brothers. And you know, fuck it, I love men. Like I love these guys. Like I have people wonder why I do this podcast. It's mostly because I have a very strong passion for helping men, helping to educate them, helping to give them advice that may save them from bad experiences, helping them to understand how to navigate in this space. I really do have a passion for helping guys. There's a lot of men out there struggling, a lot of guys out there struggling. In fact, I was talking to a guy this week, who's very new to his attraction, and he was just struggling, and he's telling me, hey, my friend who's a minister is telling me that these trans women are just men with makeup on, and and then that's all I need to be thinking about when I'm kissing one of them. And he's like, well, I don't want to leave my religion, but I also know that this is what I like. And look, there's men out there struggling. There's men with kids, without kids, married, single, whatever. There's plenty of men that are looking for answers. They have no one to go to. And I have a very strong passion for giving these men my time, my advice, my experience, but also linking them with other men who may be better suited to share their experiences, help them out. Because I'm not the best suited for every guy out there. I've never been married. I can't tell a guy how to be, how to handle his attraction and all that stuff when he's married. But I have married men in my group that will be happy to mentor and help guide him through certain shit. I've never been through a divorce. There are guys, hey, I'm going through a divorce and my wife is trying to use my transamory against me in the custody battle. Well, I've never been through that, but there's guys in the group that have been through that. So, anyways, I just, I have a really strong passion. I give a lot of fucks about the dudes out there that are struggling, that are just looking for answers, or just looking for somebody to talk to, looking for some sort of, looking for somebody to help them figure shit out for themselves. I know a lot of women know that y'all say, I've heard it said a lot of times, we do a lot of labor with these men, helping them be comfortable with themselves and all that. Well, look, y'all don't got to do that. Women, you don't have to do that. You shouldn't have to do that. I'm not saying I'm the perfect guy to coach and help every man, period. But, this shit is necessary. It's needed. And, men need to be comfortable with themselves. They need freedom. Like, really, the main thing that men need is freedom. And we're going to talk about that later on in the show. And Mike and I got some fiery discussion when it comes to that. But first, let me offer the traditional trigger warning, because this is the Men Like Us podcast. It's a men's space. It's for men by men. So we are going to say shit how we feel, and we're going to say things in a way that men can receive it. So ladies, if we say something that doesn't hit your ears just right, just know that we're not making our words palatable to you. We are doing our best to make our words palatable to men. And oh gosh, I'm sorry. One little bit of housekeeping. Please know that the guy that you see on this podcast is who the fuck I am off the podcast. But don't make the mistake that I guess one of the things that people kind of run into with me when they encounter me in different spaces, conversations, whatever else. Just know that I'm here for the guys. I put these men first. I care about my brothers. I want them to be free. I want them to love themselves. I want them to not be shamed or, have guilt and insults hurled at them. So, just know that I give a whole lot of fucks about these guys. And if I see problematic behavior from trans women, I will address it, and I will give it no quarter. None. In the same way that me and Mike and every other transamorous guy that's been on this show, we are anti-transphobia. Like, we are very supportive of the community, and we will not allow transphobia to exist in any space that we exist in. So so the same way that we give no quarter, we don't give any room, no wiggle room at all to anybody in our space to say anything transphobic. We confront it, we combat it at every turn. I do that in the same. I do the same when it comes to, you know, to problematic thought patterns or just all out offensive, verbiage of men, trans amorous men, men who like trans women. I could be very aggressive on that front. Not aggressive to the point where I'm angry, but I'm not going to let you get by with even a little bit of, shame or insults or guilt, type of shit being hurled at men, or misleading men, misinforming them, all of that shit. I'm not going to allow any of that. So please understand that this is my passion. This is who I am. I want a better experience for all guys, and the better men feel about themselves, the better the more healthy they are when they approach the community. By the time they get to you, they're in a way better space, and you don't have to coach them into thinking that they're not gay. You don't have to coach them into accepting themselves, because they already feel free and liberated and affirmed in who they are. So that's my monologue. I had to share that because, I kind of got into the back and forth trying to help a woman understand, like, yo, certain things that you're saying right now is not great and whatever else. And she just wasn't getting it. And because I didn't relent and I didn't just fall in line and just, backed her play at every turn, it was like, oh, well, I thought you were for the women. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm for the guys. And I need you to understand that you're wrong in how you're treating these dudes. So that's my honesty out there. So it has been said. Everybody knows who the hell Chris is, what he's about, all that stuff. I'm about helping, but helping the men, helping this part of the community helps the community. So this work is needed. It is necessary. Trans attraction, trans amory, the label, the community, all that shit is necessary and needed. Men need identity as much as anyone else with a sexual preference that's outside of the dominant society, cis man to cis woman. Everybody needs identity and community when you exist outside that space. So bisexual, gay, lesbian, all sexual identities that are valid, just like trans amorous is a sexual identity that's valid. So, I'm not going to belabor that point. Just want to move on. But, I see the comments are firing up, and I'm sorry I didn't see everybody. What up, Troy? What up, Brianna? Hey, Tracy, Kanisha, Monica, Rick, Rena. Dang, who else we got here? Algernon. What up? Shout out Houston. We got to get together, bruh. Quan, what up? What up, playa? Roy, what's up? What's up, Courtney? Everybody in the house, I love y'all. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining us on this show. Thank you. Danae, I hope I'm saying that right. Or Danae? Danae. I'm going to go with Danae. And please correct me if I am incorrect. I want to respect all day. So I'm sorry, let me move on to the next part. I kind of got wrapped up in that one, but sorry, Mike. Thank you for standing by on that, bro. But, something that Mike and I wanted to talk about kind of relates to what I was talking about earlier. We really want to talk about like the mindset of men who are new to their trans attraction, and like, I really kind of want people to understand where they're at, and I kind of really want people to, and even the guys themselves to understand where they're at and some of the things they need to be looking out for. And what sparked this was a post. I joined this new Facebook group, and it's full of, trans amorous men. A lot of guys are, very green, very new to it, but there's also women in the group. And, there's a lot of men, looking for answers and getting in conversation, and, women are chiming in here and there. And the woman who put that group together is absolutely awesome. Shout out, Alice. You are the fucking bomb, by the way. Fucking bomb. And what up, Zay? Love you. By the way, Zay, if I haven't seen, please keep up with the Men Like Us Instagram account. I just put our our full episode that I did with Zay on what men should do. I'm sorry, what men should do before getting even attempting to get in a relationship with a trans woman. We put that whole thing on IGTV. So get on IG, check it out. It's a dope episode. Zay was definitely on point, and research, or just watch the fucking video. Zay will get what that means, but anywho, what up, John Jukes? So, what started my what made me think about this? I joined this group and I saw this post, so I'm gonna just share this, show you guys what this post is. So one of the guys who is in the group, he's definitely feeling himself. He's brand new to his attraction and all that stuff, and he put out this post. He said, "Pre-op trans girls are the most perfect beings on this planet." Done. In the statement. To which I commented in the group like, "Hey man, right on, brother. Like, I'm glad you're feeling liberated and free to share your, attraction. Like, this is for a lot of new guys, this shit is like new, that they can just talk about these things or express their attraction unfettered in a space and not be judged. Like, it is when you're newly trans attracted, it's an exhilarating feeling to not have to hide certain parts of yourself. It isn't, to me, it was an exhilarating feeling that there were things that weren't off the table. Like, I was able to talk about whatever. I was able to share. I was able to just share my feelings, or just share what I like, what I don't like, whatever. I just express myself freely because I've never experienced that before in my life. And, this guy shared that opinion, and, in came the women with shame and insults, saying, well, one woman in particular was saying, well, this post is unfriendly and ignorant. Another one was saying, you're commodifying us, you're doing this and that to us. And the one thing that I want, because women watch this too, my audience is about 50-50 women and men. Very close 50-50 women and men. So I want to talk to women here as well. Ladies, when you see posts of men expressing themselves and being free and feeling liberated, support the fuck out of that shit, because these dudes need your support to help them feel more secure in their attraction. Like, this is what he likes, and his preference, what he likes, that shit's valid as what anybody else on this planet likes. So, definitely support the fuck out of that shit, and don't shame, don't try to correct. I think when you're in a space with I'm sorry, bro, I'm just monologuing, but it's just like, when you're in a space with newly trans attracted men, you have like the sacred privilege of helping how this man is going to navigate in this community, how he's going to perceive the community, how you're helping him form his thoughts in terms of who he is. And all I would ask is that if any woman encounters a guy who's brand new in this space, I would ask that you stay away from all statements like all men, all trans women, all people do this, all people do that. Stay away from that, because that guy, like, newly trans attracted men are impressionable as fuck, and they will eat up every word you got to say, and they're going to run out into this community thinking the truth that you gave them is the truth. And some of the times the truth that people give is motivated by what the fuck's happening inside of them. So one of the women on that post was saying, well, you shouldn't like pre-op women because all pre-op women are going to get SRS. Well, that's not true. And just because you're going to get SRS, or just because you don't like that part of your body, doesn't mean that he shouldn't like that part of a woman's body, because somebody else out there loves their body and they don't have a problem with that part of their body. It's not a catch-all. Serving up catch-alls in terms to further an agenda, or to make or to fall in line with what you're feeling inside, or whatever the fuck you're going through, gotta end that shit. Gotta end that shit. And Mike, I know that you had I know that you had a thought that you wanted to share with, when it came to the experience of like newly trans attracted men. So I'm gonna just let you take it away, bro.
No doubt. I mean, if a guy is new in his attraction, it's not a good idea to try to make him think otherwise about it, because then you could end up ultimately kind of like pushing him away. Because let's just say hypothetically
Mm.
he is into pre-op trans women, like that's his preference. That doesn't mean that he's not going to grow with his attraction.
Mm.
So for example, like right now he could like pre-op trans women. He might not even be looking for a relationship. He might just be looking to explore his attraction outright before he enters a relationship. Now, whether that means he's just dating, or he's like going out and just looking to kind of like hook up or whatever, that's his prerogative. He can do whatever he wants to do because he's his own person. But the whole thing is like, let's just say a few years down the line, he decides, hey, you know what? I'm ready for a relationship. And he meets a woman that is pre op but plans to get the surgery in the future, but he falls in love with her. That's his business. He can be with whoever he wants to be with. But let's just say, he still is into pre op trans women, and he doesn't want to be with someone that gets the surgery. That's his prerogative too.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, people can make their own decisions on what they want and all that stuff for their relationships. I just think it's because it's something that you're not down with, or that's the direction that you're not going. Don't make it a law that that's not right. You shouldn't like this. Or if a man, look, these guys are new. So when they say, man, I love trans women and want to date a trans woman and I want to marry one, and this is where I'm at, this is what I want, this is my shit. And I only want to date trans women, whatever, whatever. They're finally proclaiming it. They're finally accepting themselves. And if you come down with, well, you're a chaser because you only like trans women and there's something wrong with you, or anything short of just support, like, hey, right on, man, I'm glad you're starting to accept yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. Anything short of support will, yeah, the gatekeeper mentality on what people have to be and what it really should be in your mind, like, it's not good. People need to be free, and all of that shit can really contribute to sending that dude back into the closet. So that's really what it is. It's like, you don't want to, and I get it. Guys should be strong and down for this shit, and they shouldn't be that unshakable. But a lot of guys who are new to this, they're just dipping their toe in the water. They're still like kind of skittish, like, I don't know. I think this is kind of what I want. I think I'm going to try and do it. And they're taking baby steps towards being that guy all the way down the road. Like, this is a journey. They're just in the beginning parts of it. And it's like, anything short of support, a lot of times can send some of these guys running back to the closet. Well, fuck it, I'm out. Like, I guess what I like is wrong. My pastor was right. I shouldn't like trans women only. Like, I don't know. Like, it's a whole thing. But it's
This is why it's important to allow people to grow into their attraction.
mm-hmm.
Because, think about it, like the church, homophobes, and everything like that, they've been telling people for years, like, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if this person is now opening their mind and they're like, wait, actually, no, wait, it's not wrong, they're making a step in the right direction.
For sure. And one point you made, Mike, that was actually very dope. And this is just for men at all levels to understand, like, yo, and for everybody to understand, like, sexuality throughout life, like, it evolves. What you like evolves over time. And what I mean by that is, hey, you may go through a phase where you like this or you like that. Everybody's taste evolves as they grow. People grow as people. Some guys, I've seen some guys, you know, start out with, well, I only want pre-op, and then actually, well, I don't care pre-op or post-op, and it's just like they end up just falling in love with the chick that opens their mind up. Like people can change, and people can be different kinds of folks. They're gonna have different tastes, but everybody's entitled to what they like. It's just I think with a lot of these guys that are new, I think we have to do the best that we can to affirm them and make sure that they feel comfortable in who they are. And if you are ever in proximity to somebody who's brand new, who's still trying to think it over, whatever else, all I'm asking is, as a person who was in that space, is just support and affirm, support and affirm. And if you don't have the energy to do it, send them to somebody who will. Send them to my men's group. Send them to the Trans Supportive Brotherhood, the Men Like Us tribe. There's another group. I forget the name of it. Trans Love and Support. Or there's another one, supporting men who love trans women. There are all sorts of other support groups out there if you just don't have the energy for it. Like really, and newly trans attracted guys out there, if you're listening to this, definitely never allow anyone to have power over you to the point where you feel bad for who and what you're sexually attracted to. Like your sexual attraction is not something to be ashamed about. It's not something that anybody can dictate to you, whether it's right or wrong. And that's what I mean by these new guys. They're really impressionable. We will. When I was brand new and I was having all this information downloaded into me from trans women, because I'm sitting there listening and taking in everything that they say, and it was just like, and I took that shit out. I took that shit as gospel. Well, yeah, all trans women like this, or we don't like that, or we're this, okay. Now I take that and run out into the world, and I figure out the world is a lot more complex than the simple as all women like this or all women don't like this shit that I was given. Like I had to rethink I had to change a whole lot of things on a lot of my beliefs that was handed down to me, literally dictated to me by some women that I was listening to early on. Like I had to rejigger everything. And it's just like, it's very important. Like not important, but it's I don't know. I still think of it as a sacred honor to really help somebody understand themselves and the community that they're trying to interact with, and helping them understand how to navigate it. So, as a newly trans attracted guy, like I was really impressionable as fuck. And, I believe some things. I was told some things that weren't exactly true. And I had to, reality kind of smacked me in the face, So it's kind of like running into a closed door. Like I just, it stopped everything. So anywho, that's really what I wanted to share with everyone today. We didn't have like this big, gigantic set show. There was a viewer comment, or not comment, a viewer question I wanted to get to.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? Oh, yeah, okay. So I didn't ask the question, but I'm going to leave. I'm going to let the ladies that are watching kind of answer this as well, because we definitely need some of y'all input on this one. But the question is, do some trans women gaslight trans amorous men into believing that dating is wrong, and if you want a trans woman, you should have to want marriage? Oops, excuse me. So I guess is marriage a requirement, or I'll probably even dumb it down, long-term relationship required, long-term commitment required. Like I guess
this is something
saying that they can't casually date. Is that it?
This is something that I would say is situational. So, for example, I mean, if you're in the cis hetero community, you got people that date casually, and you got people that are more relationship minded. Same thing with this community. You got people that date casually, and you got people that are relationship minded. So this this falls onto the individual. So to say like all trans women are gaslighting trans amorous men into believing that dating is wrong, I can't agree with that 100%. I would say you really have to focus more on the individual relationships that are out there in order to get a real opinion.
Hmm. Fair enough. No, I don't think I haven't really seen this as well. So to the man who asked this question, I would just say, look, get in relationships, that's cool, but don't put the cart before the horse, and don't allow anybody to try and get you to put the cart before the horse. You know, any married person I know that I've talked to, they've all told me, one day at a time, young buck. Not that I'm not that I'm super young as I was before, but one day at a time. Like fuck, can't just start out wanting to get in a marriage. So I mean, I think this is just a general relationship thing. I think there are in general, like this isn't a trans thing. I think it's saying that there are people that have this fantasy and they want that marriage so quickly, they want it so badly that they're like, all right, we need to go
I
straight to marriage
mean,
from dating.
I mean, you got relationships that take time. You got relationships that move fast. I mean, every
That's true.
situation is
They're not
different.
all the same.
Yeah,
You're right. Monica said, don't you have to date in order to know if you want to marry that person? That's correct. You
in
do.
some
You do.
situations, yeah.
Meeting, dating, relationship, maybe eventually marriage feels like a natural progression. Yeah, definitely. So that's part of that putting the cart before the horse. I wanted to share Tracy's comment here. Tracy says, I have to say I have met men whole out and about. I torture myself over how to tell them about the Jack in the Box. But when I finally tell, they just didn't care. They, like me, they didn't grapple with their sexuality and labels. We continue to go out, meet friends, etc. So it's not always so complicated. That's correct. It is not always so complicated. There are men that are in positions where they just have the privilege to not have to worry about, whether their family's going to accept them or not, or whether, their family dynamic will be turned upside down on its head, or whether their friends will reject them or whatever, whether they're going to lose their job, lose their home, you know, uh, there are some
That,
people that just are privileged enough to be in that position where that is not a factor. But I
that's
I know,
also dependent on where you live, as far as
oh yeah,
losing
oh yeah,
jobs and stuff like that.
but
But
it, it
friends and family,
she's
it's
correct. It's not always. It's not always that. So yes, we definitely don't want to be blanket statements here, but y'all, it with this whole trans attraction thing, the shit is real, and I'm not here. I'm not into playing the trauma Olympics because that's a losing game that doesn't benefit anybody really
exactly.
over who suffers more. But I think it's all about acknowledging everyone's experiences, and these are look. I know men have killed themselves due to this, or due to their fear, due to whatever the fuck's happening inside their head in relation to their attraction. I know somebody who's been kicked out of their parents, kicked them out the house because they found out that they were dating trans women. Men who have lost their jobs can't work because the job found out that they like trans women. Like, it isn't all hunky dory like all the time. Not all the situations end up rosy, and some of the shit gets really bad. And I think a lot of times when you have to confront these situations with family, work, whatever else, being affirmed, having a strong resolve, and knowing yourself goes a long way to helping you deal with those situations in a lot better. And Tracy, this is not me, devaluing you, because really, what Tracy said, like that experience is out there.
Yeah,
It is out there that guys have been. There are men out there who are in positions that it's just not an issue. Whether like religion don't matter, family dynamics, that it just doesn't matter. They're good. Their world is not going to be rocked by this at all. And that's dope. And you know what? I wish I was one of those people. My relationship with my mother is still fucked up. It is fucked up and broken still. And
wow. That's
You know, I don't even know how to get us back. I think we just have to go to parental counseling or some shit to bring this back together because we're it's a fake in the funk situation at this point where our relationship is just kind of not as real. It's kind of very surface level at this point because we can't talk about everything. I talk about my podcast, she goes silent. She don't want to hear about this. I talk about women, period. Well, is she a real woman or is she a trans woman? What wants me to differentiate at every single point, no matter what woman I'm talking about. Like, and we end up arguing over that shit. So then we just don't talk as much because it's just like, you know, it's a whole thing.
I'm sorry to hear that. Man.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, but again, some when people say, you know, the fear is all in your head, sometimes the fear is fucking real. It's in there for a reason because, you know your loved ones. You know your loved ones more than anybody else does. So you know how they're gonna react. You know your situation. So I mean, I will say I'm a lot happier and I'm a lot more liberated being open about my shit. And Tracy, we are all good. And yeah, everything lives in the same universe. Everything we said here and the experience that you share with us all lives in the same universe because we are in a reality filled with multiple truths. So, my truth is not the ultimate truth of the universe, just like the truth that Tracy said isn't these are all things that exist in the same place. And that's another art of, like, I guess, conversing in this space. Sometimes we get hung up on our truth and, well, that is the truth. It's like, well, there's other perspectives, that are valid. What were you gonna say, bro?
No, I was agreeing.
Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I feel like I was.
Yeah, no, I was
Y'all,
agreeing
man.
with you. Like all of our opinions are valid. You know what I mean? Like everybody has a side, but at the end of the day, you just gotta be you and live your truth.
Hmm. And Adonis said it's also a lot of stigma, even in the queer community and among families, when being a cis man dating a trans man. Oh, definitely, definitely. And I mean, shit. Oh, the LGBT community. We have to do a whole nother episode about them motherfuckers because these niggas is just it's out of control, man. I've been kicked out of multiple LGBT groups expressing oh, I love cheesecake. Sorry. Tracy, she said, let me meet her, Chris. I will make her my cheesecake and we will laugh and welcome her to the club. Cheesecake is my one and only weakness. If
I love it.
in fact, it was my one and only weakness to the point where I lost 50 pounds over like last year into this year. I lost 50 pounds doing the keto diet, and I had to make keto cheesecake because I just couldn't part with cheesecake. I needed something.
Man, you already know the best cheesecake is New York cheesecake. Real talk.
Oh yeah, New York, you won. You won on that one, New York. But Nicole says I ask guys not to tell their mothers. She don't need to hear that. Spare her the drama. And like Nicole and other ladies listening to this, and men, like, yo, that plan is all Gucci until a family member reads your tea. And one of our close friends had that situation where he brought a girl home, didn't tell nobody. She's a pretty girl. She's beautiful. Brought a girl home, didn't nobody know. Or I'm sorry, brought a girl home, didn't tell nobody. And a family member read tea. And then, he ended up arguing extensively with his family and got put out the house. He had to go stay with another family member across town. So it's like, there is that other side of it where if somebody reads tea and, people might be feeling some kind of way thinking that, okay, you're lying, you're trying to whatever. Like, I don't know. I just know that there is another side of it, especially when somebody reads tea. But I'm with you on that as well. Like, especially like if you're with a girl and she's cool with, you know, she don't really want nobody telling nobody. Like I don't think she needs to be announced in all situations. I don't think she needs to be announced in every single fucking situation. Not every family member, not every mother, not every father. Like I get it. I get it. And if that's the direction that y'all want to go, then cool. You know, so that's really where I'm at with that because, you know, I found myself in a situation where I was going to bring a woman around my family, and you know, we were both like, you know what, I'm not. We don't need to make no announcements, and we're good. So then, you know, we just did it, and it was all good. But it was just like it wasn't like, oh, I can't. It wasn't. It was people just don't know, but it wasn't like, you know, I had to keep the secret. Like it wasn't like my enforcing it, but you know, so there is both sides to that. I just wanted to put that out there. Sorry, bro.
No, that's cool.
Fuck, it's late. I'm sorry. I'm getting a little weird and kooky. I'm hungry. I
That's all
skipped
good.
dinner.
But Monica said she never heard me mention my family before or anything like that, or
Ah,
my
yes.
familial relationships. Like I've mentioned my family on the show before. Um, my mother, before she passed away a few months ago, unfortunately, she loved me no matter what. So it was like whoever I brought home, as long as I was happy, that's all she cared about. One of my cousins, I was afraid that he was going to be problematic. But thankfully, when I did tell him, he was cool with it. He was like, whatever, man. He's like, as long as you're happy, do you. There were a few friends that I thought wouldn't care, but unfortunately, I did lose two or three friends in the process. One of them I thought heard me when I told him the first time, and apparently he pretended like he never even heard me, and then all of a sudden blocked me completely. So yeah, I mean, it was ups and downs. I had people that were accepting and people that just are no longer part of my life, and that's pretty much how it went.
Mhm. Okay. Thanks for sharing that with everyone, man.
No doubt.
Really appreciate you sharing that. And like this is the kind of shit that, like, when we are in our men's group, we're sharing our experiences like this because, when we share this shit, there's other people in the group that can relate. And that's a good thing about sharing this shit on this podcast. Like doing this podcast, we're sharing our experiences and hope, what that man just laid out to help somebody in a similar situation. At the very least, knowing that you're not alone. You're not the only one dealing with this. Like, I know it sounds weird, ladies, but like a lot of guys in the space think they're the only ones. We are seriously like fucking isolated. And I want to who was that? Oh, I'm sorry. Nicole says terribly sorry about your loss.
Thank you.
Tracy says my condolences, my sincerest condolences, Brooklyn.
Thank you.
Um, Aljanan, as long as you're happy, Mike. You know, um, and that's really what it is. It's all about happiness. Oh, Shay says, I try to ask if the family/friends are supportive of him dating a trans woman. I don't want to be an ambush at family gatherings. Yeah. And, that's the thing with a lot of, trans attracted guys, especially the ones that are open, are just like everybody in the room knows. So sometimes that makes it so that, you bring somebody through, you ain't got to have no conversations. And well, is she? What's going on? Y'all all know what it is. And, you're setting the table so that ain't no smoke when the girls show up. That's usually my approach. Um, the other time I didn't have conversations, like when I didn't have conversations when I brought that particular woman around, it was just like the table's already set and I'm not going to let anybody know ahead of time. We're just going to go. We're just going to go and ain't nobody going to say shit and we're good. and nobody talked to me about it afterwards. Nobody had questions. We just was Gucci. So, um, I'm sorry, somebody. Monica says, "Sorry for your loss. Thanks for sharing."
Thank you.
And Algernon shared something with oh yeah, Algernon. I lost my friends. I lost most of my friends, and I'm sorry to hear that, bro. Um, definitely sorry to hear that, man. But hey, I think he's in. Is that the one that's somebody else is in Houston? That might not be him. I think that was somebody else in the group. But yeah, you know, and then Tracy, sorry to hear that. Nicole, what? Whoa, sorry. What can we do about the isolation trans attracted men are experiencing? I mean, really, in my mind, it's really just making sure that they know they're not the only one. Like, I know it sounds weird as fuck because there's so many trans women out there and somebody's got to be with them. But in our minds, we don't know any other dudes like us and we're completely isolated. We can't talk to anybody about this shit. I can't talk to anybody that accepts me, that is like me. I can't, like, it's really weird. Like when I made my first friend, Eric, like that's what set off a whole new chain of events. So it's really making sure that guys are connected with other guys. If you know a good dude and you meet somebody, oh yeah, you're my first, and I don't really know anybody else like myself. All right, well, hey, go talk to my friend. Go join this Facebook group. Go watch this podcast. Listen to this podcast. Go do this. Put them in spaces where they can feel, they can understand that they're not the only ones. So that's my answer. But Mike, sorry, wrong way.
I mean, same thing. Like, I mean, if you meet somebody that is telling you, like, you're their first, like, they're new to this or whatever, it is good to send them to this podcast because they can actually get insight as to other men who feel the same way they do about trans women and everything like that. And the more people that do become open, the less DL boys that we really got to deal with. Because I mean that's what really puts the bad labels on us is that some women meet too many DL guys and they just think that's what trans attracted is, and that is not who we are or what we represent at all.
For sure. So, look, I mean, ladies and men, everyone listening to this, friends, family, allies, whoever, if you know somebody who is attracted to trans women, and I mean, just ask them, like, are you connected to anybody? Do you know anybody? Do you know any other guys like yourself? Have you talked to any other guys like yourself? Have you been put in space? Have you heard from any other guys like yourself? Like, because this community shit is like really important because it helps men build their identities. It helps firm up their identities because a lot of times we're just kind of floating. We're kind of floating and we're like, just freelancing. We don't know what's going on. We're just trying to figure this shit out on our own. But, listening to the experiences of other men, like when I first started engaging with other men and I was hearing, experiences from guys that have been dating trans women for, hell, since I was born. And before that, like guys that are married, it's really, really started to understand a whole lot. And I want to acknowledge Tracy talking about the family thing. She says, I've been ambushed with parents, kids, and friends. I just look for something sharp to grab just in case. I think Quan was responding to her, or I don't know who he responded to. He said, I feel you, sis. Meg, yes, boycott the DL. I mean, that's definitely something that I co-sign on. And I know to us and all the guys, most of the guys listening, I can't speak for everybody.
And hello to Misha from JFK. Welcome to my city.
Oh, Misha. Hey, Misha. All right.
Welcome to New York City.
Yeah, it's our sister there. Brother Roy, to answer Nicole's question, Roy was saying that them seeing more and more men being open and proud, can definitely help with the isolation. And this is my second podcast. Like my first podcast, like I met Mike from he was somebody who had listened to my other podcasts. We did a whole show about it, but it was just like hearing men is like, yo, I heard your podcast and I didn't feel so alone anymore. I wasn't the only one. Like that realization, that feeling of like, wow, there's other people like me and I'm normal. This is good.
That's the funny thing. On your other podcast, I was trying to hit you and Eric up to do a collab and shit like that at the time. And it was like with I guess yours and his schedule, it was like almost impossible to figure out a collab. And then it was like finally afterwards when you got this podcast, we started collabing.
Exactly. But yeah, I've talked to quite a few guys. It's just like, yo, I'm not the only one. Oh wow, that's crazy. Because a lot of times when these guys are new, they only know one trans woman, and they don't know any other guys like themselves, and they're not in the scene like that. These is dudes that ain't in community that don't know shit from shit.
Not all of us are from New York.
Yeah, not all of us are from fucking New York. Well, yeah, hey Misha, that's our sister. We love her. So shout out to Misha.
What's good, Latria?
Oh, Treya showed up too?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. What up, Treya? I'm sorry. I want to make sure everybody's comments get acknowledged. Appreciate it. Thanks, Rick. Appreciate the love, bruh. Shay adds, and when a man has children from a previous relationship, marriage from a cis woman, I try to make sure his children will be comfortable because they will be in the picture. And that is absolutely amazing of you, Shay. That is amazing and mature of you. So definitely appreciate that mindset.
And that's one thing too, like maturity, like both sides of the coin. Like a lot of people need to mature, and that's kind of like when I was saying, like grow into your attraction. Maturity is a big part of that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's everybody's on a journey. Nobody starts out at the top. We're all learning, growing, understanding different things. And, as an outsider to the LGBT community coming in to this space of transamory, we don't know shit. We're largely ignorant. And a lot of times we're ready to learn. We're ready to take in information. And it's just like, yo, we gotta make sure these laws that we're passing, these commandments that we're passing down, like really match up with reality and they're not blatant statements. Because I'll say it like this. So one of the things that I was told when I came in was that, all women care about passing and it's all about passing and you got to make sure that your girl is passing. And it had my head spun up to being focused on my girl passing when that shit really isn't fucking important. But I heard that from some women and I'm like, oh, okay. All right. That's important. Okay, cool. And I just ran out there into my first relationship thinking that her passing was a bigger deal than what it really was. And it was a fucked up, problematic mindset that led me that had me decide not have me. I did the shit, so let me take accountability. I made some, I exhibited some problematic behaviors, even up to having instances of a policing her femininity, because my thought process was completely fucking off because I was listening to people that I thought were experts and that were trying to help me and give me good information when they didn't. So, that's how impressionable a lot of these guys are, and they don't think to question. They don't think for themselves. We're like, all right, you're the expert, I'm the novice, teach me, and that's it. So, there's my admission. By the way, I did have a conversation with that young woman that I was in a relationship. I did apologize. Once you know better, do better. And, I let her know that, I was ignorant and that I did some things that were not great. And, I grew and I learned and I had to apologize for it. And I've owned up to that kind of shit on this podcast before. Or not that kind of shit, but I've owned up to those mistakes in my first relationship on this podcast before.
No one is perfect. Everybody makes mistakes.
For sure. But you got to be honest and be accountable. You gotta be accountable for your fuck ups, and hopefully other
Show
people can learn from that shit. Ah,
show
fucking
show me
fleas.
someone who is 100% perfect, and I'll show you the biggest liar in the world.
Fair enough. All right. Sorry, we got back on the comments, y'all. We're getting close to wrap up time here. Anyways, we got a couple minutes left. So Tracy says, I have dated DL men, but DL in that we didn't tell anyone about. Damn, girl, about the Hidden Valley Ranch. What? We were out and about and proud of each other. All right, the Hidden Valley Ranch. Shit. So
We
wait,
haven't
what was
found
the term she used before? She had some other term that was good too. Fuck. But Hidden Valley Ranch, that takes the cake. That's fucking hilarious. Thank you for that, Tracy. But yeah, I mean, and fair enough. I think if it's agreed upon terms and you're both, and this is what y'all want to do, and this is how you want to manage your relationship, by all means. I think one of the things I heard a lot of the stories that I heard when I first got into this community was just like how women wanted to be loved openly, and a lot of men were keeping them in the closet, only seeing them in their apartment, never taking them out to restaurants. And I really felt how much I felt how much that hurt them. And it's just like I'm just staunchly against that. But if that's the agreed upon terms of your relationship, and you're both comfortable with that, and you feel secure in that relationship, by all means. I'm not here to judge anybody what relationship specifically. I just want people to stop being hurt.
Yeah.
I want people to be done right for once. There's a lot of women in this community that just keep getting done wrong by dude after dude. So I would love for men to just step up and do better. And that's not me being a simp. That's just me being real, telling the fucking truth out here.
Ain't nobody calling you a simp.
Well, I'm just speaking to the to the people that may be watching this a month from now. Kanisha, it's hard to find a man who is attracted to the kind of trans woman I am, plus size. Shout out to the BB Dubs, love the big girls myself. I'm proud of who I am, but it's hard for men who like thick plus size trans women.
That ain't true. There's a lot of men out there that like thick women.
It's brothers that like it, and there's ones that don't. Brothers,
The question is she attracted to the dudes that tend to like her?
I mean, that's the quandary for everybody, really. But I would say, I get it, and I think that hopefully I might have a solution for that soon. We'll see. I don't know. Hopefully, I'm trying to organize an event that might help everybody out. So
I'm just saying, from what I've seen, it tends to be a case where women are like, "Oh, but men don't like the type of girl I am," and then it turns around and you got like guys that like them, and they're like, "Oh no, not you."
Well, so I actually kind of snapped on an OnlyFans girl about that. Jack in the Box. Goddamn. Jack in the Box at Hidden Valley Ranch. You heard it here, everybody. Goddamn. It's fucking hilarious. I love that shit. Yeah. Keep them coming. But I kind of snapped on an OnlyFans girl on Twitter. I got my little fake profile that I use just to peruse porn and OnlyFans and whatever. Because, I mean, Twitter's the new Tumblr. So... not snap, but some girl was just like, yeah, well, we're all the men that open up doors for women. I miss that treatment. I had a guy who did that before, and I can't find men who will do that again. And I'm like, look here, like, ma'am, you are bad as fuck. You have your pick of the litter when it comes to men. All you have to do is amend what kind of men you are choosing. You have the choice. Just change the kind of guys you're choosing, because you can have any dude. And this girl was stone cold gorgeous. So, like, I kind of had to snap on her on that one, because I'm like, the options that she has, other women would kill for. And it's just like, she's sitting there complaining. The fuck? I don't know. I had no sympathy, so I had to let her know. G Mike, what up, bruh? Sounds like you were one of the guys who listened to the lives and posts in secret, thinking they figured everything out. I was that guy at once. Um, no, not really. Not in secret. I was in like Zoom meetings, listening to podcasts, um, doing Instagram doing Instagram video chats, and like the girls were really trying to really educate me. But some of the things that they were educating me on was shit that was from their perspective that really had more to their version of the truth was molded by what's happening inside of them instead of what is the actual just objective truth, not the subjective truth. And so that's really what it was. I was just listening to a lot of people specifically that I don't consume their content or take in what they're saying anymore, or I just do, but I also understand that that's their truth and their truth is not the truth. So I listen differently now, but before I just took everything as like, yo, knowledge, listen, learn, grow, all that stuff. Meg says
power.
You'll find him, hun.
Knowledge is power. The more you know.
For sure. Miss Misha, I'm gonna need you to stop playing on my live stream. Talking about perfect is right here. I love you, Misha.
Yeah, shout out to Misha.
For sure. Rick Gordon. I think this is the politician guy here. We gotta get you on, bro. We're gonna have to talk about this shit. He says it's a journey, Doc. My first trans woman I dated when I was 24, almost 40 now. It's growth. Absolutely. Absolutely. Tracy says I would never, ever be in a relationship like that. Sorry for the assumption. I think I might have misconstrued the message a little bit. So, I don't want to misquote anybody here.
Just going to put this out there. Vote for Rick Gordon as long as he's not Republican.
Wait. Shay says there needs to be a group of transgender men in Dallas, Texas. Shout out Houston. I'm in Houston. Or at least a mixer because online dating is growing old. You're right. So Tracy, shout out to Tracy for remembering. She says, I think Chris and another young man are arranging a mixer. So yeah, there is that. There is the which we put out there that somebody email the Men Like Us podcast at gmail.com if you want to help us organize this because everybody was on board in the comments. Nobody emailed. So that's a project. That's definitely a back burner project for me right now though, but we are definitely going to concoct some sort of family trans community family reunion weekend in probably Atlanta or some other place where there's a lot of people, not New York. But put it somewhere, and we'll have probably hit up the skating rink and have a cookout, family reunion style, and maybe have a coordinate with a club where they just have a night for us and we all have fun there. So it'll just be a fun little relaxed weekend. So not hating on New York, is just expensive there, and I don't want to deal with all that shit. So.
City in the world,
expensive. Not dealing with it.
Greatest city in the world.
Not dealing with it. So it's a dope city. It is. But that is not what I was talking about actually, Tracy. There is something else behind the scenes that's happening, and I will probably start announcing stuff next month. We'll see. But there's something really big coming, and something that's never been done before, as far as I know. That might help a lot of might help a lot of people out. So allay a lot of our dating frustration. So it's gonna be dope. So I can't let the cat out of the bag just yet because we're still planning. But anywho, yeah. But that's all I got, y'all. Oh, Chris, I can't help organize. I'm trying to renovate my home I bought. Yep, that is a fucking headache. I get that. Oh, what did Meg say? I'm sorry, Meg, I missed your comment. Let me go back real quick, and then we're gonna wrap it up. After who? Wait.
And that's something else, fellas. Wrap it
After
up.
Kanisha. Ha! Get on prep, fools. Actually, and that's, dude, I had to explain to a guy like, yo, this is what, this is what prep is. No, Kanisha said it's hard to find a man who's attracted to the kind of trans woman I am, plus size. I'm proud of who I am, but it's hard for men to like plus size, thick, plus size trans women. And Meg says, you'll find them, hun. And then I don't know what Twin Brothers is about, but I think I'm forgetting the context for that one. But yeah, Denver has a great get together thing. Never been though, because I don't want to go alone. Actually, Elizabeth, those events are dope as fuck. Maddie is the one who organizes that shit. I think it's called like the Made Up Club, but they have an amazing community in Denver. If you live in Denver, you are definitely privileged because they have amazing transgender community events there. They have pool parties. They have lots of get-togethers at bars, and like they have all these nights. And they just that's when I first started interacting with the community. I just came out to their events, and it was made for people to be social, get to know each other, hang out, have fun, and it was like they were very welcoming. So definitely go to those events. Go, it's dope. So New York is great, but okay. I can help, but not in Atlanta. I'd rather be. Yeah, well, look, we could be Dallas. I would fucks with Dallas too. So I would fucks with Dallas too. Now about my fiance. Oh, I missed the fiance one. Sorry. Let's see, Meg. I wanna make sure I get Meg's comment in here because she does come back to us, and I fucks with my loyal viewers. I do. Let's see here, Meg. Boy got the DL. I'm sorry. Meg says, my fiance has never tried to hide me from his friends or family. Some try to say he's gay. He's so far from gay, but his self-security is phenomenal. And that, men, that's where we're trying to get you to. We're trying to get you to the point where you don't care if somebody says you're gay, if somebody tries to devalue you for liking trans women. Like that's the goal. That's the threshold. Well, not the that's one of them. That's one of the milestones that we want to get guys to hit, because once I hit that milestone, I stop caring about a whole lot of shit.
Yeah, man. Straight
whole lot of shit.
Straight up, somebody tries to call me gay. I'm like, cool, call me gay. I'll even fuck with their head for like a whole hour and a half.
I mean, I don't deal with people that say that and then don't want to have a conversation, because then there's a lot of fake intellectuals out there who think they know what they're talking about, and I could dismantle all their shit pretty easily. So I'm happy to just do battle.
Oh yeah, and my petty side will kick in. Trust me.
There you go. Look at Tracy out here dating NFL players.
Ooh.
Okay, I see you. All right, sis. Okay.
Brittany Renner Part 2. Oh no, I didn't say nothing.
Oh no,
I didn't say nothing.
No.
Check out the Real Talk podcast for that one.
For sure. But anywho, all right, y'all. Thanks for joining us tonight. I appreciate y'all standing by and just listening to us jaw jack about newly trans attractive men, their mindset, at least where my mindset was, what I'm seeing out here with a lot of these guys. But the end message that I want everybody to take away from this is allow men to be sexually liberated. Allow men to be free. Allow them to feel their freedom and be liberated about their attraction for the first time in their lives. If they say they like pre-op women, or if they say they love women with penises, let them love that shit openly. Let them feel that shit. Just support, because the more affirmed they are in their attraction, the better, the better person that they'll be, especially when it comes to intermingling with the community and defending the community and just establishing a self-identity. Obviously, there is lots of conversation to be had about how open you should be about it, where you should insert that in what conversations, when you should just shut the fuck up and not say that. All of that shit, I get all of that is there, but at the end of the day, we just need to affirm a lot of guys and try not to judge them, try not to shame them when when they are finally expressing themselves for the first time in their lives. We need more welcoming, bringing guys in, and less, adversarial, trying negative labels. So that's what we need. Mike, any final thoughts?
Just keep it all positive, yo. Like, negative is not what's needed. Like, within the community, we need unity. That's why it's community.
For sure, for sure. For sure. So yep, let's treat each other well, be free fellas, and hold on. I need to gotta check. Next Wednesday, finally gonna do this. So finally, Ryder Monroe will be on the Men Like Us podcast next Wednesday. We will be having our second Star Trek talk. The last one kind of got postponed. We're doing it again on Wednesday. So look out for that. We will be going live Wednesday evening. If you have any questions for Ryder Monroe, by all means, DM the questions to the Facebook page, Instagram page. You can email menlikeuspodcast@gmail.com. You can also just send general show feedback. Got any questions for me? Any feedback for the show? Just send it there.
Or what they could do also, pre-game with the Ryder Monroe Trans Talk for Men episode, and then go right into the Men Like Us episode, because this is our part 2.
That's for sure. That's for sure. So we will be talking Star Trek and nerdy shit, but I'll make some time if you guys have questions for her. She's been in the porn industry for a while. She's definitely been in connection with transamorous men for a minute. She's had conversations with numerous guys about, being open and all that stuff. She's a very dope chick, who's a very authentic person. So, send any questions you have for her, about her life, Star Trek, nerd shit, or, OnlyFans porn, whatever, by all means. So, anywho, follow us on Twitter. Please, please, please follow the instructions at the bottom of the screen and on this label. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. I need more subscribers. So if you are listening to this, get over to the YouTube channel, click the subscribe button. The more subscribers I have, the more likes I have on my videos, the easier it will be for me to share my message with more people, to be easier to be for people to find me. So also, if you're on Facebook, share this with your friends, family. Share the message. Help me reach more people. I could use your help, everyone. So with that, we will see y'all next Wednesday, and we will see y'all next weekend. Y'all take care.